You are listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
Come on, boys! It's Christmas Eve! Last those rains! Tie down that sack!
Yeah. Not like we've been practicing for 364 days or anything.
Enough flick! Santa needs this thing in tip-top shape before the trip!
The Limbus cookies are stowed. It should see him through to the end.
Limbus cookies? You know what? Never mind. We don't have the time for all that. Go check on the reindeer.
Tell me, Rudolph of the Woodland Realm, what do your dear eyes see?
The side of the barn. Anyway, are we getting paid OT this year or not?
Yeah, you take that up with HR after we finish. This sleigh takes priority.
I got your priority right here, buddy.
What was that?
Nothing.
These bells, they ring with the chatter of the Anduin. Should we not silence them, as not to alert the Dark Lord of the wizard's coming?
And Dark Lord? Wizard? Just get the sleigh ready! Oh boy, I should have retired years ago.
Yeah, Santa's not a wizard. He's a... well...
Enough! Yeah, we did it! It's ready.
Good. My hot cocoa wore off hours ago.
Alimene, go with our blessings.
Are you a temp? I mean, seriously, where did you come from?
Hey, time for a break. Thank the union.
Yeah, okay. I say we've earned the rest. Let's go get some cocoa.
Does it come in pints?
I just can't with you right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Called Lore. I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Jerry.
And today we're covering the big red man, the lobster. Thanks.
Yep.
Actually, no, Santa. We're going to cover
I brought lemon.
Oh, he has the claws.
lemon. It's butter.
That's true, but just a little sprinkle of lemon.
I use too much butter for the lemon to even matter.
There's no such thing as too much butter, man.
Oh, yeah, there is. Once that big old thing in your heart just starts slowing down.
It's because it's satisfied with all the butter.
My brain says no, but my heart says ow.
Yeah. Anyway, we did Krampus not last year.
Not last year, but
before.
Krampus was our prior Christmas episode.
Our launch Christmas episode, was it not?
Yeah, it was the first Christmas time episode for us. Yes.
And so eventually, once you do one, eventually you got to cover the other.
Yep.
And I mean, you're going to have to cover Santa.
Right. Yeah, of course. The yin and yang of Santa and Krampus,
So how did your guys' research turn out? Because this was wild for me.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Mine was pretty this is the sort of thing that I can also look at on the casual over the course of a few years. So a lot of it was like, oh, yep, nope, this one is a lot like Krampus as well. The different part of the world here, and it's just like all these different weird pronunciations. That's where I always get lost is these names. It's like they're so similar and yet so different in a lot of cases that it makes it hard for me to keep track of all these Christmas boys and gals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Jerry?
Oh, I kept getting nostalgia back to my childhood.
Oh, nice.
Like those old claymation movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I was like, I remember this character.
Those were good. They are good. They're still good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I actually got to one of the comic book conventions I went to back in the day had all those claymation figures on display. You could go visit them. It was pretty cool. They're tiny little things.
Wow. Yeah.
But they looked old as fuck.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're old clay.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were very discolored.
Yeah.
But all the diesels were still there.
That's pretty neat.
It's like a
love
Christmas
that.
miracle that they're still around.
No kidding, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't all of them. There was Rudolph Cornelius.
Cool.
There was the Santa from Year Without a Santa Claus.
Huh.
There was one of the misers. I think it was Heat Miser.
Heat miser?
Yeah.
Is he orange or blue?
Bear in mind, I didn't see all of them because the getting around those cases was quite crowded.
Yeah. Oh, I'll bet. Yeah. That'd be man.
It was, yeah, I got to see the ones that I liked. I got to see Rudolph and Cornelius, so I was good.
That's so
I
cool.
was not wanting to stay in line for all of it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, they looked good. They were obviously old.
Yeah.
I think Bailey's the biggest fan of those claymations, man. She loves those things.
Oh, yeah. No.
Which one's your favorite?
Rudolph?
Going with the OG.
Yep.
Yeah. Rudolph was the one that I liked the most.
Yeah. Jack Frost was pretty good, but the Jack Frost story was good, but it was also kind of a little, I don't know, melancholy and sad for my young child, Eric Brain.
Is that the one with the Baby New Year? Because that one was
is it?
weird.
Oh my God.
There was like a big buzzard that like stole him.
I don't think so.
Baby New Year?
I don't think that was was that? No, I don't think that was part of the Jack Frost. At least not the one I'm thinking of. I know what you're talking about. There was like Father Time stuff going on. Yeah.
And then like the Baby New Year was supposed to come, but like it
Got kidnapped.
the buzzard Eon the giant like buzzard kidnapped
Stop
him.
making this
How do
shit
you
up,
remember
Jerry.
all this?
What do you mean he didn't technically remember it? He just stored it away in his vault. He's walking his way through it right now. He didn't remember that shit 5 minutes ago.
I'm watching the play-by-play.
Yeah.
See, Eon wanted to live a long time, so he stole the Baby New Year so that he could continue
So
to
it's going
live.
to end the Eon.
Oh, it's not a bad immortality plan.
Yes, it is. It's terrible.
And I think Rudolph and friends saved him.
What?
Yeah.
They do bring Rudolph back for some of these. Yeah, I haven't
Frosty
seen
may
all
have
of
been involved.
the. I feel like
you leave my family out of this.
yeah.
This abomination sounding motherfucker. What is this?
Uh,
I like Year Without a Santa Claus.
yeah, that was a good one.
I like that one, but yeah, I'm probably I like the Bumble. Man, the Bumble was cool.
Bumbles bounce.
They bounce.
Hmm.
And they did a good job of making him scary. And I'm putting scary in quotation marks.
Yeah.
of course, but
Yeah, he made me kind of freaked out as a kid. You know, like
Yeah.
oh my god.
they got the music right and the sound of his roar was good.
Yeah, he felt dangerous.
Oh, this was the Abominable Snowman one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With
yeah.
Rudolph.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was menacing. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and very just unsettling the way the eyes would move. It was a little
But yeah, he had what we would now know as tweaker eyes.
weak eyes.
One was going to the left, one was going to the right, not in the same like rotation at all.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Tweaker eyes. That's what was wrong with him the whole time. He's tweaking.
Yeah. I
They
mean
blamed the tooth, but we all know what the real issue was.
Mhm.
Withdraw.
Scratching at the neck.
having gone through a really bad toothache and withdrawal, I go over the withdrawal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
Because, like, pro tip, if you're going through withdrawal and it's really bad, you can go to any ER and they'll give you medication that will inject into you and calm it right down and knock you out and you'll sleep right through it. If you go to the ER with a really, really bad toothache, they're going to just be like, sorry, bub.
We don't have tooth doctors here.
So
That pain is rooted deep within your nerves. Nothing touches that. Yeah. It's an owie. That's an owie
Any
owie.
way you chew it.
I mean,
Yeah.
they can do this thing called like a nerve dam where they block it all off.
Right.
But good luck getting them to do it.
Yeah.
Good luck getting them to do it.
Yeah. Really. They'll just put like topical numbing stuff on it.
Or gel.
Might help a little bit. Or a gel. Yeah. My solution was to get drunk. That seemed to help, but I
That's
don't
how I
recommend
went through
it.
the withdrawal.
That's how you went. Yeah. That can lead to other things that you have to deal with later, you know. Plus,
Although I did say that the withdrawal was better than the tooth pain.
That's true.
So,
So it's
go
a step
for it.
up. Yeah. If you're, it's a step up program. There you go.
Yeah,
That's-
you got to do it for a long time.
right.
Although not
Very
so
long
long
time.
if you really put your heart into it, but long enough.
Little sand and ice skate.
Oh God.
What was your favorite claymation movie, Jerry?
It may have been the one that I made up with Eon and Rudolph.
Yeah, the one that you made up.
But today we are here to look at the Santa Claus,
Yeah.
Father Christmas, Kris Kringle. Jerry, what other names does he have? Let's just get that done right off the rip.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, we would Santa Claus, Saint Nicholas, Saint Nick, Father Christmas, Kris Kringle. Yeah, that's what I got.
That was fucking hilarious. Ben didn't even need a list to get them all.
Thanks. Back to you, Dave.
Well,
They were just going on. They're like, oh, all these different names are really just different ways of saying Santa Claus. I'm like, oh, what are those? The three that you listed. How fascinating.
we were also talking about the companions' names too, but also, yes, Sinterklaas.
Yeah,
you could have
Sinterklaas.
you could have said Sinterklaas or
Santa Claus.
that one.
The
You could
one
have
that
said
I always
one.
remember is remember when Tim Allen is rattling off the different names in the police station? He says, Papa Gijon.
Oh, is that a real one? That's got to be a real
Tim
one.
Allen don't lie.
Yeah,
He
Tim
just does cocaine.
You're right. Just because you do cocaine doesn't mean you would lie.
Nope. And it
So,
was back in the
yeah,
80s. Everybody
yeah.
was doing cocaine in the
Right.
80s. If you look at his mustache, it tells the tale.
So there's another, the Tim Allen Santa Claus.
He's making an appearance in this.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But anyway. So supportive. So where does this start? Did either of you guys come across the name Saint Nicholas of Myra?
Yeah, he was the patron saint of children, archers, sailors, and pawnbrokers.
Yeah. And is generally accepted to be the guy for which the behaviors of Santa, if not the look, the behaviors of Santa is based.
Which I would like to know how big of a difference he does. I saw a picture earlier, but it was one of those stained glass window sort of pictures of him.
So I saw, I watched a few videos where some people went in with like the oldest painting of Saint Nicholas, and they used modern technology to kind of do an image of him, like they did with that image of Jesus a few years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got a really round head, big eyes. He's not a particularly stern-looking fellow,
Yeah.
although apparently he pretty fucking was.
Yes. There's some stories for later, huh?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of crazy ass stories about that dude.
Yeah.
But also, Jerry, did you come across the name Saint Nicholas of Sion?
No.
Okay, so I didn't get a chance to look into this as deeply as I wanted. I will grant you that. But it seems like, according to what I understand, that Santa Claus, as he currently stands, forgetting all of the marketing and modern stuff that we've added to him along the way, seems to be an amalgamation of Saint Nicholas of Myra and Saint Nicholas of Sion. Because apparently Saint Nicholas of Sion looked much more similar to the image of Santa Claus that we have. But their tradition of gift giving and that sort of thing comes from Saint Nicholas of Myra. And apparently a lot of the time, these two Saint Nicholas get confused for being the same guy, but they aren't.
Ooh.
Like you were saying, even apparently in the Vatican's
Yeah, apparently
stuff.
if you go to Rome and Italy, a lot of their stuff that depicts Saint Nicholas that is very old is screwed up, is not proper. Because for a long time there was this kind of confusion. And then I guess this one researcher was kind of, he felt that there was something not right, where there was some inconsistencies, and he found a report of this Saint Nicholas of Sion that was going to Rome or Italy. He was going to Italy, which was Rome at the time. He was going to Italy to celebrate the feast of Saint Nicholas. And it's like, he wouldn't be going to celebrate that if it was his, because those don't happen until after you're dead. Yeah. So obviously they were two separate people.
Yeah. Two separate Saint Nicks.
Yeah.
So like a lot of mythologies, multiple people came together to kind of be one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which really is the case when it comes to Santa. Like, I know that there's apparently very deep, deep roots, like connecting Santa and Odin when he was associated with the Wild Hunt. So way back, way back, these two things seem to at least be related to each other in some way. So there's apparently a connection between Santa and Odin.
See, that would
even
make
further back.
that would make sense with like the sleigh and the kind of
Yeah, the flying through the sky.
Odin
a
was
lot of
also known as a gift giver.
yes, he is. Yeah,
Yep.
as well as kind of a punisher, which may be where the companions of Saint Nick come along too, to kind of keep Santa pure, but keep some of the more like, no, you're getting punished aspects that also came along with
Although
Odin.
Saint Nicholas of Myra was definitely not above
Yes.
being that kind of guy.
Ooh, do you want to talk about this guy?
Well, yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think he's the best place to start because then we
Yes.
can. So Saint Nicholas of Myra was born. Well, goddamn. Okay, so he was born March 15th, 270.
Wow.
Yeah. Motherfucker was in early triple digits.
Yeah. So I had no idea that he was that old.
That old.
Even
Yeah.
Even that. Wow, that's incredible.
Born in what was known as Patra, Turkey. So he was Turkish. Died December 6th, 343. The age
Wait.
of 73.
Wait, born in December and died in December?
Born March 15th.
Oh,
died
March 15th. Okay. I was about to. Sorry, that was that was my birth month. Me and him were born in the same month. Neat.
Yeah. So he lived to be 73, which back then was pretty good. But he was born to rich parents, and his rich parents died when he was a child, left him. Like, this is the part that everybody knows, right? If you've looked into St. Nicholas of Myra, you know this story. His parents left him money, and he joined the Christian church, which was kind of an underground cult at the time, when in the larger shadow of Rome and the surrounding areas. And there was a particular sect of Christianity that was called piety. And in this sect, you were to prove your devotion to God or help confirm your devotion to God by giving away all of your earthly possessions and living a life of poverty.
Okay. Yeah.
This was like the beginning stages of that stuff.
Gotcha.
So Nicholas was a fan, and he started practicing giving away his parents' wealth. And to avoid getting recognition for this, he would do it by throwing it through the windows of poor people at night.
Oh,
That is cool.
cool. Yeah.
There's
I
some-
didn't know that's why where he got the money that he was like. I knew he would throw it in through the windows. I didn't know that the money came from like him getting rid of his own wealth, like
Yeah.
to
Yes,
the point of poverty.
it was a-
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a very particular story of instance of this. Back in the day when and again, I am not a historian. This is just as I was kind of listening to it. Basically, when you fell behind on your taxes, eventually they could repossess your children, because this was back during the dowry system.
Uh-huh.
So they could marry your children off with a dowry
To recoup
to
their
help recoup losses.
Whoa.
So
Fuck.
there was this man that had 3 daughters, and he was poor, and they were going to take his children. And the way to get around that is by having them married, right?
Uh-huh.
But he had nothing, so he would have to pay a dowry to a family rather than get one, right?
Right.
So he couldn't afford the dowry in order to marry off his daughters to avoid being turned into slaves. So St. Nicholas heard about this, and one night he threw what would be considered to be a reasonable dowry through the window for the oldest daughter.
Oh,
And eventually he repeated this process
three times.
3 times. And on the 3rd time, the man caught him.
Huh.
And that's how word got out. Even though St. Nicholas made him swear not to tell anybody.
Yeah.
This man would. So I don't blame the man. If you find out that somebody is doing something like that for you, you're going to tell people. That's,
yeah.
I'm excited.
And your friends would be like, where the fuck did you get this money?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
A fuzzy fat man threw it through the window.
Sure.
But so where the stalking comes from is like a legend that when he threw it through one of the windows, it landed in a sock. And that's where it was found the next morning.
Yay. In the sock.
That's
Oh, I love it.
And so stockings came from that.
Is it possible that like it could also have been a shoe? Because like shoes
Sure.
a thing too.
Sure.
I'm just wondering. Yeah,
shoe,
you never know.
Shoe,
I just
sock.
Yeah.
So they also report that he would throw it down the chimneys, but homes in that time period at that place in that
Probably
world
didn't.
have chimneys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
things. So it could have been a shoe, although they were probably sandals. So like
Right. Yeah. Maybe the shoe was a Germanic thing that came in later.
very well could
Yeah.
have been. That could have been a leftover from Odin. You
Right.
leave something in your shoe.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
So I could see that.
Yeah. But
So
anyway,
he became very well loved for this kind of practice. And he ended up becoming a bishop by accident, more or less. He showed up in town right as the bishop was being executed, or right after the bishop was executed, because the guy that was in charge starts with a D. I don't remember.
Deacon or
No, his name was like Dar. It was a Roman
Oh,
name.
it was a dude.
It was a name.
Yeah, dude's name.
But he was in charge, and he would basically kill. So at the time, Christianity had rose from like a cult into a recognized religion by the Roman governing body, and the bishops were to represent the people in kind of the court of the Roman opinion, kind of the way they did things, apparently.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
this guy was known for any time a bishop would come up and say something he didn't like, he would just kill him and get rid of him. So basically, like St. Nicholas rolls into town and this dude's dead, and all of the other people just kind of go, "You take the new job." Like nobody else wants it. So he takes it. And like every account I can find of this guy is him walking up and slapping somebody, him giving somebody the business, like just walking up on him and ripping the sword. Like, okay. I found a couple variations of this story. No matter how you slice it, it's fucking wild. So there was this, I'm going to call him a mayor, because from what I can tell, he was basically our equivalent of what a mayor was. And so this mayor decides that he is going to show a throw of power by executing some criminals, right? Like that's a show of force. I'm strong. You don't commit crime in my town and execute the criminals. But he just kind of he just finds like 3 soldiers that he doesn't like. And he's like, they're criminals. And that we've seen that before. Actually, one of my favorite movies, we just watched it not too long ago, Gangs of New York. They do the exact same fucking thing. They round up 3 random guys to hang, and he's like, I don't care who they are. They just, we just need to show that we're hanging crime. So that's actually not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
But Nicholas gets word of this, and he shows up, rips the sword out of the executioner's hand, and just starts berating everybody there. Then he goes to the mayor's house and slaps him. Just walks right up to him and slaps the shit out of him. And then he reveals a plot to kill the mayor to the mayor. So the mayor throws these soldiers that were going to plot against him in prison. So they start praying to Nicholas for help. So the mayor and the executioner and a third guy that I can't even remember, because who cares at this point? Like if you get those 2, you're done. It's like taking the side objective. Who fucking cares? They all have dreams of St. Nicholas telling them that there will be grave consequences should these men be executed. And so they're let go.
Detective Badass Nicholas.
Detective Badass Nicholas.
Like,
wow.
I'm sure that story has been metamorphized 6 ways from Sunday, but I love it.
That's great.
He's so very Gandalf like in that depiction. You know what I mean?
I
that
wonder.
blustery anger.
I have
Show some sense, damn you.
I have
Fool of a man.
I have strong theories that Tolkien based a lot of his stuff off of actual like historical accounts that he read, because he was such a historian.
Yes.
I could perfectly believe that he read this account of Saint Nicholas and it fed into
It was
Gandalf.
like, now there's an attitude right there that I like.
Yeah.
That's going into my wizard.
That's going into my wizard.
But apparently there's several reports of bishops doing this where they're just like, fucking
Slap.
just beating people, smacking people.
Wow.
Another case for St. Nicholas. Have you ever heard of the Council of Nicaea?
I have.
So for those of you that don't know, there was a sect in Christianity that rose up that said that Jesus was not divine. He was human being, but he was a divine messenger of God. And when he died, it made a covenant with God and that forgave all the sins, blah, blah, blah. It was basically Christianity without Jesus being divine. And so this sect rose up really, really strong, was building a lot of steam. And so they had this Council of Nicaea where I believe it was Constantine. I think it might have been Constantine. I'm pretty sure it was Constantine. He basically took all the bishops and put them all in a room together. And he's like, you guys figure this shit out. Well, the guy that started that radical, we'll call it radical because it would be considered radical, and they lost, so they're the radicals.
Yeah.
The guy that created the radical sect was there. His name started with an A.
Arius?
Arius.
Was that it?
I'm pretty sure it was Arius.
Yeah.
So he's there. Nicholas shows up, and they use the word like slap or hit, but it's probably closer to the word beat. He ends up going to jail because he just shows up and just ats this guy. He just starts beating the shit out of him right there and then at the council.
Andrew Jackson of his day.
Yeah, like he was a fire and brimstone preacher. He's credited with destroying one of the 7 ancient wonders of the world, which was the Great Temple of Artemis.
Really?
Yeah. There's no like direct proof of that, but like the pagans blame him for it and the Christians give him credit for it. So,
Yeah. They seem pretty unified on that story.
Yeah.
It would seem.
And
Wild.
he was a consult to Constantine through his conversion into Christianity. So this dude saw some crazy changes in the world.
Yeah.
All while on one hand being a fire and brimstone preacher, but inspiring the acts of Santa Claus.
That echoed for so far 2,000 years.
Yeah. Just absolutely wild. So that is who is probably the most direct reference for Santa.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as a direct historical link.
Yep.
Now, with that, I have officially blown my load. Because once I got on this whole like the 2 St. Nicholases and then the St. Nicholas of Myra and all the transitional stuff, like I just got lost in that. And I was like, oh fuck, we're supposed to be looking up his friends too.
Yeah.
That shit didn't happen. I love history and I didn't know nothing about this guy, let alone that he was walking around slapping motherfuckers.
I didn't know that either. Yeah. Man, you think you know someone.
Yeah.
So but in his very actions, we see Santa and Krampus.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point. He was a punisher as well as a rewarder.
Correct.
In that regard. And yeah, to me, it makes sense that to have the Santa that you have today, you can't have all that punishment stuff tied up with them. So you have to give that to someone else, like a Krampus figure.
Right.
Or,
and if Krampus is already there.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've got a Krampus in the culture, you take that Krampus and you make them friends. It kind of makes sense. I also heard read vague reference to just a demon, instead of Krampus in some small, little areas. It's just a random demon that Santa keeps with him and it's chained up and there's an angel floating around to make sure the demon doesn't hurt anyone. Weird. I don't know where the fuck that came from. I couldn't find much at all on that.
That to me sounds like the Christian church trying to soften that shit up.
Yeah, maybe like some backwash from Krampus even. Yeah.
Yep. Although I still think Krampus is like a Sotonos tied figure.
So do I. Yeah, like a wild nature spirit sort of dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Santa is known not just for him, but for having friends.
Yes. He's got several friends. And it depends on the region that you're in, what grouping of friends you get sometimes,
So now that we've broached the subject of friends, I'm going to ask the question everybody else is asking. Are we going to cover Black Peter? Are we going to cover Black Peter? Did you guys look him up?
I looked him up.
Oh, Eric's got the information.
Peter.
Eric's going to cover Black Peter.
I chose someone else to focus on. I can't. Black Peter is, what's the other, how do you, let me look up the other way to say his name. I can't just
Inward
keep saying-
Peter? No, Eric. We
No,
can't say
not that
We
one.
can't
No,
say that. What are you doing?
That's not the one.
That's not Christmassy
Hang on,
at all.
Hang on, I got this. I can't believe you. Zwart Piet. Zwarte Piet.
Swarte Piet.
What does that translate to?
Black Peter.
Ah, okay. Well, hey.
So he was, I don't know. Apparently they tried to do some PR later on where he's like covered in soot. It's not that he's a black person.
What bullshit?
I know.
Okay, listen.
Yeah,
no, we're not
listen.
doing revisionist history here.
Now, I also heard an interpretation that Black Peter was actually the devil, that St. Nick actually had the devil to heal, and that was Black Peter going around helping him give out gifts to other people. I have no source for that. That was some other random... Listen, I didn't want to cover Black Peter, Ben.
Just like Santa's an anagram for Satan. So
Yeah.
it's like they're the same person.
Now there's Jack Black. Jack Black, Black Peter. Uh-oh. There's a connection there. No, I don't know where that came from.
Now
I don't
that's
think
a Jack.
he was.
There we go. There's a Jack Black movie I would watch. Jack Black playing Black Peter. Let's go.
No.
I want to see it.
No.
Let's go for it.
Oh,
Come on.
no.
Do it. Heard you wouldn't.
But anyway,
Who
he gave
did-
out presents and sweets for St. Nick. Who did what?
Who did you focus on?
Père Fouettard. Father Whipper. Father Whipper is... So, where do I begin with this crazy guy?
Sounds like a gay porn star.
I mean, he's got some other names that may not help the case there. So he's one of Santa's companions. He's one of the punishing tropes. He often carries a whip, or lumps of coal, or a large stick for beating, or a bundle of switches. And he's like usually a
Bundle of sticks?
bundle of sticks. Yeah, it could be a bundle of sticks.
Sounds kind of familiar.
What do
Yeah,
they call that?
It does sound kind of familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. I call it a bundle of sticks because I'm in America.
It's a British cigarette.
Yeah. I call them cigarettes.
Although it
'cause
is
I'm in
interesting that
America.
it's like whip, bundle of switches.
Yeah.
There's always... It's
Something
funny,
to
there's always
strike.
some implement
Yeah, to strike with.
strike with.
Yeah, there is. And he seems kind of like, in looks, a bit more of the anti-Santa. He's got a long beard, but it's all scraggly and, unkempt. And he's wearing dark robes instead of like red robes or something like that. Or if, you're depicting Santa with a red coat, he would have probably a black coat or a dark colored coat. And again, he's one of the Punisher tropes. Like, in different areas, there's like different Punisher beings that don't usually whip people or carry them off.
I wonder if the whipping thing. So, and I'm just because like a lot of this is brought in from multicultural, right? So, I'm only speaking to the Christian aspect of it. I wonder if the whipping and stuff. I wonder if that comes from Jesus and the tax lenders, where he because he did whip them,
right? Yeah, that's true.
I wonder if that helped in their minds cement the idea that you could.
That's how you punish the sinfulness, the wrong,
something like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting theory.
I just try because the reason how I got there is I just went back to the furthest story that I've heard of a righteous being punishing an evil being by switch.
Right. Yeah.
I'm sure there are older stories.
I'm sure there are older,
don't.
but that one is certainly the most famous currently, I think.
And also, it is possible for things to develop at the same time through entirely different means.
That's true. Doesn't always have to be directly connected.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like, the switch thing could have been brought in by another culture, and then the Christians kept it because of the symbolism that it already aligned with.
That's true. They're like, oh, well, Jesus did that too.
Yeah,
so that works.
This already fits.
Yeah.
Or it could have been their idea wholesale. That's
right.
These things kind of just blend.
Yeah. So, in addition to the whipping thing, I did leave out that he also may or may not carry a wicker basket with which to carry off naughty children.
And then that's
Sounds
just
familiar.
the parents.
Yeah.
Carrying off anytime I hear carrying off naughty children, I'm like, and the parents added that.
So, where did Père Fouettard come? Fouettard. Father Whipper. Where did he come from? One story I heard, these two are very unconnected. Maybe they're, I don't know. We'll see. Apparently, one of two places he came from was a siege, the siege of Metz. Charles V, a French king, I believe, was besieging it, and the people of the town like were pissed off at him, of course, and a bunch of leather workers made this effigy of King Charles, and they bound it in chains, and they took it through the streets, whipping it, and eventually burned it, and then kept dragging its burned corpse through the street, and they eventually nicknamed it Père Foutard, Father Whipper, as like some sort of way to insult the guy that was, at war with them or whatever.
I wonder if he had like a nickname that was like Father Ruler or something.
Yeah, and they so I don't know. That was one story where this name crops up, but I think I like this next story much better, and to me it kind of fits a little more with the lore. There was a butcher or an innkeeper, depends on the story, whether he was a butcher or an innkeeper, and he was a greedy guy, and he decided to murder 3 young rich kids, trying to get some money, to rob them, basically. You want to kill them and rob them. But then he also chopped them up into pieces for stew, or stored them in a barrel to hide them. And there's variations. I don't know. Sometimes he drugged the kids, then slit their throats. Sometimes his wife was helping him, yada, yada. Anyway, along comes St. Nicholas, who senses that something horrific has happened, and he lays his hand on the barrel with the dismembered boys in it, and he resurrects them. They come back whole.
Jesus.
What?
Yes. And then St. Nick, turns on this butcher, and the butcher or innkeeper either repents and as penance joins St. Nicholas to travel around the world with him as he does this, or is forced to, as a punishment for murdering these kids,
I like that
go
one
around
better.
with St. Nicholas, and that is who became Père Foutard.
Oh.
Yes. And then he made his way.
You got a different version?
Well, that sounds exactly a lot like the story of Thor and his goats when he got those kids to go along with him.
Oh my God. You're right. Tell us. Regale us.
Well, Thor shows up at this house, and because of hospitality and stuff, those they're like poor. So his goats resurrect.
Right.
As long as he leaves their
He has
bones
to have all the
to good.
bones there. Yeah, in the skin.
So he slays his goats, and they eat the goats, and they all go to sleep. But the kid, either Loki tells the kid, "Hey, you should go eat some of that marrow that's in the bone of that, because that's the good stuff."
Right.
And so the kid goes and he eats the marrow out of the bone.
Yeah.
And then
cracks the
when
bone.
Thor resurrects the goats the next day, the one goat has a limp, and he's like, "Not working right."
Yeah.
And so then Thor's mad, and then the kids, I believe it's 2 children, they offer themselves as servants to Thor. And then for a while, Thor is dragging these kids around in his goat carriage.
Yeah.
For a while.
They're going on adventures with Thor through the through the sky and in this carriage. You're right. I did not think of that. That's a good catch. There's a death, dismemberment, resurrection thing, and servitude through travel. Cool. Neat. Good catch.
It is interesting how all these stories kind of end up interwebbing.
Yes. What a great web of lore we have in this world. It's beautiful. Now, one more. My man here, Pear, does take one more stop. He comes over to the Americas during migrationary times, I'm sure. And he becomes, in about the 1930s, I guess, he becomes known in America as Father Flog or Spanky. Spanky, because he's spanking these kids, I guess. I don't know. That's fucked up. And sometimes, and he's got his wife with him now, solidified in the lore as Mother Flog. So there's Father Flog and Mother Flog, otherwise known as, and all the Flogettes. Spanky going around the United States, punishing children. And apparently his punishments are specific, kind of I will big air quotes here, punishments fit the crime sort of thing. Like I heard the suggestion that like kids who steal get a broken finger. Kids who lie get their tongue cut out.
That's
like stuff
disproportionate.
like that doesn't seem proportionate.
Lying,
you know,
lying is not as bad as stealing.
Yeah,
And I would much rather have a broken finger
than a cut out tongue. Yeah.
I guess
One you
it's
can
meant to prevent the sin from happening again.
I can. Yeah, that is a preventative measure, I guess. Good Lord. So anyway, watch out for Spanky and his wife.
Good Lord.
Here in the States.
What about you, Jerry? Who did you find?
Well, another one of the names for like a Krampus character is Schmutzly. I like that one.
I like Smutchley better than Spanky.
Speaking of Thor's goats, there's the Yule goat, which is a goat
us.
that goes around giving gifts. That's a Scandinavian one.
The Scandinavian people both make me curious and disappointed.
Well, I wonder if it is connected to Thor in some way up there. Like
the
that's
Yule
already
goat would
area.
have, yes.
Yeah, it's got to be,
Yeah,
right?
it's got to be.
I know we briefly talked about the Yule cat a couple of Christmas episodes ago.
Yeah.
Yep, the Yule cat has turned up before. Yep.
The origins of the reindeer came from the Night Before Christmas poem.
Which
Twas
is
the night before
actually
Christmas. Yeah.
which is actually called A Visit from Santa.
A visit from Santa or a visit from Saint Nick?
Saint Nick.
Yeah.
That's what it is. A visit
Or
from
Nicholas, probably.
Saint Nicholas.
Yeah. It has like 3 different names, but I always knew it as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas.
In the old Dutch version, Donner and Blitzen are Donder and Blixen,
Ooh, I like thunder.
which is thunder and lightning.
Thunder.
Now that sounds more like connection to Thor again.
Doesn't it? Yeah. That's a good point.
And then when it was brought to German, it was Donner and Blitzen, which are more German.
Gay. Messed it up.
Ack. Do you guys know about Ack?
Bless you.
True.
Ack was the master woodsman of the world from the Life and Adventures of Santa Claus, which is, they made a claymation movie of this one, where it's like the old world origin of Santa Claus.
Huh.
He's like a toy maker and he's going around and then
Really?
yeah,
Wow. That
I would check that one out because
What was it called again?
The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus.
The Life and Adventures of
Life
Santa
and
Claus.
Adventures of Santa.
Yeah, it was from a book written in 1902
Okay.
by L. Frank Baum. But yeah, Ack the woodsman is the bearded guy with the deer antlers.
Uh-huh.
And he is some of because in that one, Santa Claus is hanging out with like fairies and stuff. And throughout his life,
Well,
he
it's the
proves
elves.
that he's like a good person. And when he's about to die, they get together and they're like, we should probably give this guy immortality. And then that's when Santa Claus gains his immortality and
Oh,
becomes the permanent being that we know him as today.
we should keep him. They said we should keep him.
Yeah. He proves that he's like very selfless.
That is really the most common, even with angry, slapping people, Santa. Like you get a very selfless
Yeah,
person.
all
That's
the
a
accounts
common
of
thread.
all the accounts of Saint Nicholas that I came across where he was losing his temper is because of the mistreatment of others.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or well, except for the one guy. Well, I guess it depends on how you define such thing. But
Sure.
he did smack that one guy that split the religion.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you guys read about the plot to overthrow Christmas?
The plot to overthrow Christmas.
Yeah, this
Wait. What?
No.
So this was a 1938 comic radio play where the devil Mephistopheles, he wants to defeat Christmas
This
with like a
seems-
bunch of historical figures. And it wants to send Nero, the Roman Emperor Nero,
Yeah.
to assassinate Santa Claus in the North Pole.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Now, Nero does not assassinate Santa Claus
Of
because
course.
Santa Claus wins him over by giving him a Stradivarius violin.
Just what he always wanted.
Well, he
So
was
he-
a fiddler.
So he could fiddle well.
Rome Burns.
Oh,
So I'm counting Nero as a fan of Santa Claus.
a fan
friend.
of Santa.
A Santa Claus friend.
Santa Claus friend.
Not
Nero.
a friend of Rome, really, but a friend of Santa Claus. No, I guess, he tried to stop the fires.
Well, maybe eventually, right? I don't know.
What? But what in the
Results differ.
What in the 1930s made them dig up Nero for that?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I really
Like-
wanted to mention it.
Like you can, sure. Yeah. But I mean, you're not going to do Krampus, but somehow Nero makes it in?
Yeah.
Listen, history's, I mean, 1930s, couldn't do Hitler yet. I'll grant you that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't do Hitler yet. You're right. Who would it have been? Mephistopheles, I guess.
I was getting ready to say, does he need somebody?
I don't know. Yeah, a lot more associations with Santa and demons in the stories than I thought there would be. You know?
Well, I mean, it makes him a crusader for good, don't it? It gives him dominion over evil.
Yeah.
You know, evil can't triumph if Father Christmas has it under control.
That's true.
At least for the time that he shows up.
Yeah. Jerry, I have to say, you are also looking like a friend of Santa with your this is the longest Santa hat I've ever seen.
You can call it a Christmas hat. I think that's
Christmas
fair.
hat.
Yeah,
Yeah, but how long is that?
I would guess 5, maybe 6 feet.
5, maybe 6 feet
I would guess
of
5.
Santa dangle that the dog's about to eat.
Ripples.
There it is.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
Good girl.
so
Take
long.
the temptation away.
I'd love it. Good hat.
Fun fact. The church and the tomb where St. Nicholas is housed.
Oh, uh-huh.
You can go on St. Nicholas Day, which I believe is December the 6th, the day that he died.
Yes.
And they have 2 holes in his casket, in his crypt.
Uh-huh.
And in it comes out this liquid that they're not sure what it is, but it's like a myrrh-like substance. They think, so it used to be that you could pour oil into the casket and then or into the tomb and then it would come out the other side and it would be considered holy oil. It was blessed by the saint. So like they think that his body got like embalmed in this oil. And then every so often, like during this holiday, they drain some of this stuff that comes out of his tomb, which basically is like myrrh. It's like this perfume oil. And then you can buy it.
Whoa. What?
Santa tea.
I would not drink that. I wouldn't drink it. I think I'd just try to make a guy fall off your roof.
Well, I want some Saint oil.
Some Saint Nick oil.
Some Saint Nick oil.
Man.
That's strange. Man.
We're a strange group.
We are a strange group. To have, man, the level of faith it takes to look at a crypt where you know a dead body is and to say, I'm keeping that liquid because it's got to be holy. That is belief. Right
I mean,
there.
that
is strong faith.
Yeah, but that's got to speak to our 40K guys out there, right? Like, you get it.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know what? Yeah.
That's a
perspective.
Yeah, that's, oh my God. That I actually, so I drink that.
You drink an emperor tea?
Yeah. Yeah, because that's got to do something.
Emperor tea.
Do
Oh,
something
yeah,
good,
yeah,
too.
you're right.
Yeah, it's got to do something. I mean, you might explode into a ball of light for all I fucking know, but it's got to do something.
I'd drink even Primark tea, I think.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Listen, it's got to be at least one hell of a Viagra.
It certainly couldn't hurt, except, maybe it's poisoned.
Oh.
Viagra. Wow, that took a second to sink in. Holy shit.
I wouldn't drink it with Mortarian.
Well, no, that's completely
that's
different.
about-
That's Primark tea, but you don't want that.
You don't want that.
Loyalist Primark tea.
Loyalist. Yeah. Pure Primark tea. I'll take Rogel Dorn.
Vulcan. He's perpetual.
Oh, damn. That's a good one.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're not counting the Emperor, because obviously Sanguinius. Although that
No.
might actually even be sacrilegious even for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I might not,
he might
unless
be
he
worthy.
offers it. I don't know that I'd be able to
I'm changing mine to Lehman on the off chance that I get wolf teeth.
get some wolf powers.
Yeah.
Whose juice would taste the best?
Fulgrims.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
can answer that real
Fulgrims.
fast,
Yeah.
real quick.
Definitely Fulgrims.
Yep.
That motherfucker is so prim and proper that he's not a loyalist, but even if you were to go back to the time he was
That's
a loyalist,
true.
it's
That's
still true.
Hands down the tastiest tea you're ever going to have.
Probably.
Yeah. A little
'Cause-
fruity.
Oh, yeah. It's like swallowing a box of Fruit Loops. Anyway, I think that'll wrap it up.
All right.
All right, guys. So from us here at Cult of Lore, we wish you guys a very Merry Christmas.
Yes, and a Happy New Year.
And with that, I'm Ben.
I'm Eric.
And Merry Christmas to you all.